Justin.
All right, people, we got our weekly episode here at the Big O Belt Podcast. We're going to do a little bit early this week because we do know that Thursday is a special day for all the loved ones out there in Valentine's Day. So we wouldn't want to disrupt that or cause any troubles at home by doing our weekly show on that day. But I'm here with the whole band here, Hill, Will, Mahoney, and Jamal. How you guys doing?
I'm pretty good, man.
What is up? What is up? Love is in the air this week, except for some fans out there that are having a tough time, which I'm sure we'll be talking about later tonight.
Oh, we got so much stuff to cover tonight, so bear with us. I know some of you guys were actually recording this while SmackDown is going on, so some of you guys may be trying to listen to this live at the same time. Some people are going to end up hearing the podcast version. Whatever it is, it will be out for you for this week, covering all the latest news. We got a ton of stuff to talk about, ton of events going on this week in the area. So bear with us as we try to get all this covered for you. Number one most important thing that we want to start the show off with is that we are, I want to say that from the years of us doing the show here, we worked on trying to build consistency, putting out good content, and making sure you guys are definitely involved, and you know the quality is in y'all. Please, it's in y'all liking, so that you continuously support us and you know engage. So we really appreciate that. And with that being said, we were definitely late to the Patreon game. The Patreon game was something that we didn't want to do until we knew we was able to help us out along, keeping the lights on. So I definitely want to give a special shout out tonight to our very first Patreon, and that person name goes by B English. You can give them a follow on Instagram on Becca. That is spelled BEKAHC English on Instagram. We've reposted it on there. Give her a follow, man. And again, thank you so much for becoming the first BGB Patreon. And with that being said, too, also give a listen to myself and Jamal's review for Fighting With My Family, which is the WWE Studios movie about the story about WWE wrestler Paige. It's on YouTube. It's about 12 minutes long as we kind of break down our positives on it, our expectations and so forth. So definitely want to give a shout out. Give a watch to that, giving us all shout outs and stuff. Give a listen to that so you can be prepared for that movie as it comes out February. What is it, Jamal? Is it 18th? Or...
It is the 22nd, 21st, 22nd.
Okay.
It's not this Friday, it's next Friday. But it is opening up this weekend in select cities. Check your local listings, but I believe it's Friday 22nd nationwide.
Right on. Also, too, anybody that's local to the DMV area, if you guys want to see this screening, give us a shout. Shoot us a DM. There is one more screening that is coming about next week that can get you the opportunity to see it early. We gave this movie sort of say a thumbs up. It is a go watch. But if you have your reserves and you may not be on the edge of wanting to pay to see it, maybe thinking it's a red box or Netflix, wait for it, no problem. We got a free screening for you, so definitely give us a shout and we may be able to hook you up with something like that. First come, first serve, obviously, so give us a shout and we may be able to get some of you guys in that theater to see it early next week. What else we got, guys? What else?
There's a lot of local wrestling going on this weekend.
Yeah. That is for sure. The 2019 season is kicking off strong.
That's right. Let's go down the list, and yeah, we do have a lot going on this weekend here in the DMV area. What's going on Monday? Golly, what's going on Friday, guys?
Well, that'd be Nova Pro's 2019 debut. That is Ain't That a Kick in the Head? That is at the Annandale Volunteer Fire Department, 7128 Columbia Pike. Front row is sold out. So even if you had your $25, you can't get it. General admission is $20, and Joey Ryan versus Hollow O'Hara, Logan Easton LaRoe versus Alexander James, Sage Phillips versus Isaiah Frazier. That match may steal the show. There's some Commonwealth Cup shenanigans. Veda Scott's making a return. It's going to be a hell of a show, and this is Nova Pro's debut, and they've had, well, an interesting offseason, to say the least. So it'll be interesting to see how they progress and move forward as Nova Pro continues on in 2019.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, they ready to make a statement. They will be having their debut WrestleMania show and WrestleMania weekend show in April, and there's no better way to get fans invested by starting the year off strong. You just gonna say something, Will?
Yeah, and on top of that, from what I'm hearing, tickets are moving really well for this. There's rumors that we might be in the range of a sellout coming by this Friday. So the way I was hearing things on the street last night was, if you're interested in going to Nova Pro this Friday, I would get your tickets sooner rather than later. I think Joey Ryan coming to town for the first time is drawing a lot of interest that might not normally have been there previously. So should be a real hot night Friday night in Annandale at Nova Pro. Ain't that a kick in the head?
Right on. So that you have that on Friday. And then Sunday, what do we got, fellas?
What is Sunday? Oh,
Fury.
Is it Sunday?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is Sunday. Oh, yeah, Sunday, the 17th of February. Fury Pro Wrestling. They are going to kick off a show at 2 p.m. Doors are at 1:30, and it's over there in Rockville, Maryland, 7548 Standish Place. Seating is limited. FuryProWrestling.com if you need your tickets. But it's going to be an interesting...
It is sold out. It is sold out.
Oh, it is sold out?
Yeah. It is sold out. Yes, it is.
It will be coming to Pivot Chair, though.
I thought they had a few left, but nope. Well, I guess that's not the case.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in Callie Ray versus Lady Luck. I'm sorry. Callie Ray and Lady Luck versus Solar Dollar and Willow Nightingale. That's going to be an interesting show. Shotzi Blackheart versus Holly Dead is going to be another interesting matchup. There's a lot going on in Fury Pro, and I'm kind of interested to see what they do in Rockville.
Yeah, that tag match that you just talked about. I don't know what building can contain that much energy in one ring.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where you go like, why isn't this on the poster? I mean, that's I don't know, but well, true, but still, I'm here for Willow, all Willow all day. But I will say though that Fury Pro is definitely going to be one to watch to see how they're going. We had the Flying V in late January, and then now 2-3 weeks later, we got 2 more shows in the DC area. So keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming.
Yeah. Oh, it's picking up. Business is picking up in this area for sure.
Yeah, and let's not forget that someone got a promoter's license for the District of Columbia. So stuff is going to be coming soon. We don't know dates yet or stuff, but keep your ear to the ground because there's definitely stuff happening, and it will be happening inside the district for the first time in I don't even know how long for a non-WWE or WCW show or even ECW back in the day. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be big, and that's coming very soon. So keep your ears out for that one.
Also, too, I saw I was paying attention to a Q&A going on, and also looks like not only will they be going into the district, they will be expanding further where Richmond, Virginia will be getting some love. And I think that is also very interesting. And if I just could throw my hat out there, considering that one venue that a show was ran at last year with Tim Danger and them, that would be interesting if they will pick that one as well to throw on, because it looks really crazy and I'm all for it. So that should be cool. Also, too, I will be floating around at CastleCon 2019, which is a 3-day fan convention down at the National Harbor here in the Maryland, D.C. area. Bring you stuff like different multicultural enthusiasts and entertain all other types of good things. So expect some interview and content to be coming out for that coming by early next week. So let's start the show off with the topics, and we will do as we do promise as part of being our official Patreon. We will start off with the topic that was given to us about it, which is a very interesting one as well. So this does come from B English, excuse me. And the topic is basically, so it's the state of Dean Ambrose. And there's obviously the reports of him saying he was not going to resign after WrestleMania. The booking has been very questionable, but then there's been other questionable things that kind of contradicted. A house show announced that it was going to be him versus Nia Jax in the match. Are they teasing intergender? Apparently it was canceled. But nonetheless, it was announced. It had a video package and everything. Then, now he's starting this feud with EC3. There's apparently a match, a video of him at a house show, really not really caring. But then there's been other stuff that's come about where he has recently on the Major League Wrestling Figure podcast, there was basically a quote about saying from him about basically saying like a lot of wrestlers are only in it for the money. Does that kind of sort of leads to indications of what he may do? So with that being said, what do you guys ultimately think with this Dean Ambrose shenanigans? Is he obviously going to everyone's favorite quote of the last month? Is he going to AEW? Will he test out the independent circuit? Is he done, or is this all a hoax?
I think it's too early to say what's going on with Dean Ambrose. And honestly, at this point, I would say I don't trust anything that's coming out of his mouth. He's still on TV, so he hasn't he's disappeared or nothing. We just saw him last night. Heck, he even went over last night against EC3. So that was kind of a surprise. I was waiting to see if maybe the WWE was going to go into the mode of starting a burial with him, but that apparently isn't happening yet. So right now, I'm not reading too much into anything happening with Dean Ambrose because, we're still almost 2 months away from WrestleMania. So a lot can happen between now and then. And I think we are very much in a situation right now where WWE is putting out a lot of, I think, misinformation on what's truly going on with people. And I don't know. I'm not buying that he's necessarily going anywhere, but I'm also not necessarily buying that he's staying. I'm in a holding pattern of wait and see.
I don't know if I care. Honestly, I'm not to be that guy, but I really don't know if I care. I think that Dean Ambrose really hasn't done much for me in his last year or so. And that's a number of different things. He's been injured. It's been bad booking. He's kind of got the Finn Balor treatment. I don't know right now. I know that historically he's a big enough name to go out on his own and take the ride the WWE wave into whatever future endeavor that he wants. But right now with Dean Ambrose, I'm kind of show and prove. Give me a reason to care about you now, other than the fact that you used to be a thing. You're not a thing anymore. So I think there are a lot of guys in WWE right now that we are hyped about their potential, but we're not really seeing any receipts. I need receipts from Dean Ambrose and from a lot of guys in WWE to justify me giving a good goddamn about him. So whether he goes to AEW or he goes to Impact or he goes to New Japan or he just goes to hell home, I don't have a reason to care about what he does. And I am not really sure if he does either.
I can agree with a lot of that. Yes, sir.
I will say that out of all of this, the one thing that is interesting to me is that it's crazy that it took this type of booking, if it is considered booking, for him to be interesting. You literally do. His name comes out your mouth every other show now. Cause it's what are they doing with this guy? What's going to happen with this guy? What is he going to do?
But to be fair, though, that interest isn't based on what he's doing in WWE. It's based on the potential of him leaving WWE for something else.
Hey, but
nobody's looking to see what championship Dean Ambrose is going to get in WWE. They're hoping for the dream match, theoretically, of Ambrose versus Balor, or Ambrose versus Cody Rhodes as he is now, or Ambrose versus Christopher Daniels. If we're just going to say AEW, I want to see Ambrose versus Jay Lethal. But I don't know, if we're going to base that on the last year, do we want to see Ambrose versus Jay Lethal? Maybe not. But if we're going to base it on the last 5 years, going back into when he was into that Jon Moxley run, if we got to stretch back that far for me to tap to the source of whatever potential he may have left, But again, he's also older, than he was when he was a fresh face, kid coming into the WWE. So I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag, and it is kind of like, well, it's not a matter of can he still go, but his moveset's been reduced to that damn inside-out lariat on the ropes, and that they set up 50 minutes before the match starts. It's just like he's been very, very, very bland, even more so than Roman Reigns, because Roman really didn't have much to work with and maybe move the needle every now and again. Dean Ambrose came up with some expectations, and those have been metered over the last few months and into the last few years. So as far as whether he could go anywhere, yeah, of course he could. I mean, hell, Ty Dillinger could probably draw a dime somewhere. But as far as what his run is right now in WWE, do we really care? Are we given a reason to care in WWE as we go into WrestleMania season? I'm not sure. So until he leaves and somebody goes, what's John Moxley doing in the Impact Zone? Or, Ambrose Dienenstein is AEW. Until I see that shirt, he's still under WWE contract.
Look, here's the interesting thing about what you said. Everything you said, if you take Dean Ambrose's name out of it, you insert the Revival. Well, it worked. They won the championships last week.
But I feel about that about a lot of guys, though. Whether it's Ambrose or the Revival, I feel that way about Balor. I know that Kevin Owens and Zayn have been hurt and they're coming back, but honestly, they have been rather lackluster. Sasha Banks really isn't moving the needle this year. In this past 12 months that she has before, especially coming from NXT, it's really been Charlotte and Becky and Asuka that's been carrying a lot of the weight of the women's division for whatever reason. Nia Jax, even in her infamy, still moves the needle a lot more than Bayley has been. Again, barring injury, but it's like I'm not going to say restart and press the panic button and blow it up, but it is kind of like, well, we need to shift a gear.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying in the eye of like whoever's being rumored to leave is getting actual pushes in the weekly product. So, I'm just wondering if this is again another type of if it's the same pattern, because we've just seen it happen a couple of times already on the Revival or the latest product of it. So, just wondering if this is again another stunt to the utmost for them to be doing that. So,
possibly, but here's the thing: everybody's talking about who's not doing what in WWE and they're stale and they need to go out there and reinvent themselves and stuff like that. But what about some of the groups in WWE that have done it all and they grabbed the brass ring, melted it down into a gold chain, and now it's what else is there for them to do? And honestly, if I'm WWE, I don't know if you have enough money to keep the Usos. Because if what else can they do? Until WWE takes tag team wrestling seriously. Yeah. The Revival is what it is, but honestly, without a flourishing tag team division, their gimmick doesn't go farther than that. Luckily, the Usos do.
Hopefully, and that's interesting and in its own type of its own. But yeah, that's interesting. If maybe that's why the Revival have been, or maybe the forefront of what you're saying, especially with a lot of their rant, sort of say, on social media about how real tag team wrestling is and rules and so forth. They acknowledged it on commentary, so maybe that could be the direction. But we'll see. And I think it's also important that they put a focal to that, considering that they just they're going to crown new tag team champions soon for the women's division, and it would make sense that that fans are very much aware of what the rules are. But we'll see. But let's get into the AEW news. So last Thursday, we didn't record because AEW ran their ticket rally in Las Vegas. Started at 9, which I thought it was 8. So instead of just holding everybody up all night, so let's just move the show to next week. Because we figured a lot of news would come out of it, and indeed it did. It did definitely start off by, well, the whole premise of the rally was to talk about how tickets were going to be handled, But it also was used to create storylines and bookings for their Double or Nothing event that's coming up. And they also used this opportunity to announce new signees. So we did get a plethora of new people here. And I don't, is it necessary to go down everybody, or should we just talk about, yeah. Well, okay.
Hit the big names. The big names are what matter.
I would absolutely say that Sonny Kiss was a huge surprise and a huge win for signing. And it spoke a lot about the direction of what they wanted, what they should be doing. The very talented names that ain't the rumor to leave WWE name. So I thought that was a good get there. Obviously the Lucha Brothers and Pentagon and Phoenix, as I think was, a big name, but it kind of was suspected that they were going to probably do that. As far as on the women's side, Nyla Rose representing the DMV area, and Kylie Ray, another big name that they was able to sign for me. What about you guys?
Kylie Ray. You go ahead, Jamal. You go ahead.
Okay, so this is my thing. Sonny Kiss was definitely the biggest surprise, but everyone else has some tie to to being the elite and stuff like that. So as far as the matches go, they are what they are. We know that the Chinese guys are coming, and we know that they've been talking about them as a unit, which suggests that there's more than one person. So them versus SCU makes sense. We know of Jericho, and we were waiting for Kenny Omega to come through, so we know that that's a thing. Pentagon and the Lucha Brothers versus the Bucks really kind of were short on time, got shortchanged on time at All In, so that obviously makes a lot of sense. And Hangman versus Pac, obviously the seeds were sprinkled in Jacksonville. Here's the thing. I'm very interested to see how the audience, not necessarily in the arena, but how the audience as a whole, a mainstream audience, reacts to people like Nyla Rose and specifically Sonny Kiss. And a lot of the reaction on Twitter, which nearly make me throw my phone in the trash, is equally positive, equally negative, with just a sprinkle of, what the hell is this? If you haven't seen Sonny Kiss work, you know who he is, go look him up. If you've never seen Nyla Rose work, you know who she is, go look him up. But don't interject things that aren't there. No one said that Sonny Kiss is too gay to wrestle. Nobody said that. Nobody said to Nyla Rose, because she's transgender, she needs to be in a thing. Nobody said that either. Just watch the match or don't. So, internet, calm down. With that said, I think the biggest thing that we have left to prove with AEW isn't the tickets, because it's 12,000 seats. I mean, they're broadcasting it to 2 million people. Of course, you're going to get a number. Hell, even if it's 12,000 seats and there's 12,500 people watching, that's still a sellout. I think the biggest thing is going to be how they continue forward, because we know the Double or Nothing is coming, but that's only in May. There's still 7 more months left of the year.
Well, how
do they plan on filling out the year? There are some rumors about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But beyond that, of the signings of people, though, was there just any surprises? Maybe.
Well, Sonny Kiss was the biggest surprise
for sure. Yeah,
but not because he's not good. Just because I don't think the mainstream audience is capable of putting their personal prejudices aside and also not bullshitting themselves and realizing that, like, okay, listen, it is what it is. You don't like this, you don't like that, you feel a certain way based on your beliefs about this and that. Just watch the wrestling or don't. And I think that could be very polarizing for Sonny Kiss. It would be very interesting to see him as a heel, based on the fact that there are going to be some people in a more conservative nature that may not want to see a Sonny Kiss on their television, on their computer screen, in person. There's damn sure a lot of people. Nyla Rose did just the only thing she had to do to draw X-Pac heat was wake up and walk into the building. Because if you basically her heat on the internet, she didn't do anything. outside of what any other heel champion would do, or just general heel would do. But here comes another side of the internet with some major heat towards Nyla Rose for generally existing the way that she wants to exist.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. But it does add an interesting dynamic, and I hope that they play off of that.
No, for sure. And I will say from watching and strictly trying to avoid the negativity that was involved with anything with this event, because anybody and anyone that had an opportunity to be signed here was obviously a plus. So it was very good to see a lot of people be embraced by other talent, news outlets, and pouring a lot of positivity to all the people named. I mean, Jimmy Havoc anybody that's seen that guy's wrestle know he literally gives his entire body to any match that he wrestles, and seeing him being one of the first people signed was big. And you seen the likes of his best friend like Tony Storm and other UK people give him support and so forth. So you know, this is a positive thing, and for the people that, you know, trying to find something negative about it, then yeah, like you said, don't watch it. Will, who would you say are some of the bigger surprises and names for you here?
I would say the biggest surprises for me were definitely Sunny Kiss and Kylie Rae. I think mainly just because I don't think they were on people's radars as far as possibly going there. I think those were kind of left field choices that people weren't exactly expecting to happen. Now, interesting to note, we should clarify some things here. There's a little bit of confusion about a couple of things. Now, who are we talking about? Like a Jimmy Havoc, a Pentagon, a Phoenix. They are not exclusively signed to AEW. Mm-hmm. All of them have deals, but they are still very much like Jimmy Havoc will still be working MLW, much just like the MJF will. And Pentagon and Phoenix are still under contract to Lucha Underground. But since they have the deal worked out with AAA that AEW also announced at the pool party, they're getting them through that. But they are not signed exclusively to AEW.
What about Sunny Kiss then?
Sunny Kiss, I'm not sure. I know he has appeared on Lucha Underground also.
Yeah.
So it's a matter. Those Lucha Underground deals are weird because there's definitely a lot of rumblings going on right now with people that desperately want out of them, and it's a matter of how hard they're enforcing them. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely people that they are clamping down on and saying, no, you are still a Lucha Underground talent. We won't let you out of this. But depending on deals that, you know, we have partners with, we're letting you do some outside stuff. So that's why I heard a lot of the AAA deal was so they could get Pentagon and Phoenix on board for double or nothing. Now, also to note, I think one of the big surprises that came out of that darn announcements of talent was that there was no, oh, here's so-and-so from WWE. We did not get any of that, you know, people jumping ship, or even recently, you know, guys from the last year or so coming over and showing up there that are primarily known as WWE names. And there is definitely a large part of that audience that was looking for that. As we were talking about, you know, the reactions people were getting that night and what the comments on things were, one of the reactions I did see a lot was a lot of, who the hell are these people? I don't know who they are. They must be nobodies. I was looking for someone like Ty Dillinger, or I was looking for someone like Dolph Ziggler. You know, people just specifically looking for WWE names to be going to AEW. And if anything, I was quite pleased that that's not the route they're going. And so far, it's just Jericho and Pac, and that's about it so far. So I'm all for keeping it new and fresh as opposed to rehashing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. I will say that by listening to the crowd reaction, two names I was not familiar with that I heard of a pretty legit pop for was Aja Khan and Yaka.
Forgot about Aja Khan.
Yaka Sakazuki?
No, Yumi Nakazuki.
Say it again?
Yumi Nakazaki.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, be interesting to see because there seems to be a legit hype around that. So that's typically that typically means that I should be doing some homework on that on them as well. But very two interesting signs as well, and I think it's on par with what Will said. Like they went after two international talent instead of just trying to, scrap all of this, all of the American talent that was just around. They're actually doing real recruiting. So I thought that was interesting as well. So moving forward, we talked about signees. Obviously, matches are being put into play. We're going to get Omega versus Jericho 2, and then everything that Jamal pretty much said earlier. The ticket process. Let's talk about that. First off, right after the event went off, they say go into their website launch, nice, cool. Put in your email address, put in your phone number, and you will receive a code in a day or two. And your code was your presale code in order for you to buy tickets. My first thought, then I'm gonna give it to Will because I initially was disinterested at a point. I immediately thought, because of the abundance of freaking spam mail and spam text messages that I be getting, that I hope to God that my phone number and email, because I've never seen it really done like this, that I need to submit to get a pre-code by pretty much putting my information out there, being a legit person. And you consider about all the people that bought tickets, how many seats, but how many actually just registered just because. That's a pretty detailed list of contacts that they got. And I gotta say, I was a little suspicious of it, just regular real world stuff, because I just thought that initially was just something I never had to do with buying tickets before. But nonetheless, the code came, and so what happened for you after that, Will?
Okay, so my perspective on it was that night as I was watching the thing, I went to the site. I was like, well, heck, I'll put in for a code. Why not? It's free. Let's see what happens. And I tried to put in for a code that night while the press conference was happening. And the site that you had to input the info on was so jam-packed it wouldn't work. Couldn't get it to work at all. So I forgot about it that night. I think I tried it 2 or 3 times. And then I came back on like Saturday afternoon. I remembered something about it and went back and looked. And then it was working, put it in. Got my code later that day, which led up to Monday when the tickets went on sale at 3 p.m. Eastern. So they were saying that they were going to send out your actual ticket voucher code to use on the ticketing site at 3 p.m. between noon and 3. I got mine in the mail about 12:15, and I saw a lot of reports online from people who were not getting them at all. And just they were waiting and waiting and waiting. I guess there was issues with getting those codes out, and a lot of people didn't get them to the very last minute. So what happened as far as my experience went was this. I went into this with the idea that, hey, I'm going to get a code. I'll see what happens. If some really good seats come up, I'll jump on them. But I wasn't going to sweat it. So 3 o'clock comes. I go on the site. I put in the code, and it puts you in the virtual waiting room gimmick. And I was just sitting there waiting for it to come up, see if I'd get a chance to buy tickets. There was no problem getting into all that part. Everything moved nice and smooth, no problem at all. 3:15, after 15 minutes, my opportunity did come up. I did manage to get in, and surprisingly, the only thing that was available was seats in the 200 level in So up at the top of the building in section 204, seats there, which were going for $36.70. I wasn't that pressed to sit up in the nosebleeds. If I'm going to go all the way to Vegas, I'll take something better. So I passed. I didn't get them. Maybe I should have got them anyway, just to hawk them on, online, considering what stuff's listing for right now on StubHub. But
I'm interested in knowing that.
Minutes, they were gone. Oh, I got it pulled up right now. The most ridiculous ones is right next to the section that I had those tickets for in 204. In section 205, there's a ticket right now going for $10,000. Good luck if you can get that money, and if you're dumb enough to pay that much for it, you deserve what you get. But yeah, there's a lot of tickets for going $7,000, $5,000. There's some floor seats going for $6,000 right now. Lot of $5,000 floor seats on there, and then if you page down, it gets more reasonable down to like the $600 range and stuff. But I mean, if you want to go, you can go. But even with this, convoluted ticketing system they did, scalpers got in. They got the tickets. There's tons of them out there at a premium. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with it. And just, of course, there's a lot of frustrated people out there who didn't get tickets, and I guess the very last of them will go out tomorrow for the general public sale. A few hundred are left, so people will have one more crack at it. But I get that they were trying to hook people up, but there's no way around it. It's just people are gonna grab what they can. It was a 6-ticket limit. That's the experience I had. I don't know.
Kind of confused. 6-ticket limit. Everybody got pre-sale code, which means you should have had a designated block or opportunity to get tickets. I mean,
well, there was so much. I don't know. Who knows how many people they were pulling at a time. I mean, I had a 15-minute wait before I got in. It was 15 minutes before I got in, and then once I got in there was a 5-minute window I could buy tickets in, and then that was it. I was kicked out.
I forgot the ticket people. They know how to work this. 10 emails, get the codes, do what they got to do. This. So okay, just quick question: do you think they all legit sold out, or you think the resellers just went hard in the paint here?
Oh, I'm sure they did. It's Vegas. a ton of resellers got those. But hey, AEW's getting their money. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Shoot. I mean, we'll see. The only thing I'm kind of curious about is how many did they hold back for tomorrow for the general public. I think it's only going to be a few hundred, but most of them are gone. Now the question is just going to be, how are the prices on these going to hold between now and May? Are they going to go up? Are they going to go down? What's going to have, how much interest is this going to maintain as we get closer to the big show?
Well, I think that's going to depend on what they unveil for the rest of the year. Right now, this is their second show only, with only one show rumored, one show more than likely going to happen, and one show rumored. So it's still new, and it's still unique. So yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it, and the fact that it's a high value, high demand ticket, because this is their first AEW show ever, but this is their second show ever of this size for an independent promotion. I think if you're non sequitur, of course, but if you're Ring of Honor, how salty are you that the Young Bucks and Cody have drummed up this enthusiasm, and Ring of Honor, can barely, but it only puts enough effort into selling out, 6,000 or 7,000 seats at max, because Ring of Honor goes to Vegas every year for their anniversary show, and they'll get 1,200, 1,300.
Not even that. They'd be off the strip at Sam's Town, and that's about 800. That's the building I saw them in. They sold it out, but yeah, it's like 800 seat venue. So
right, and then the Young Bucks come in and they sell out the MGM Garden, which is a pretty decent sized basketball arena, and which is a little bit smaller than T-Mobile, but it's still, that's a hell of a thing to do.
I don't know too much about stocks, but I will say this seems like one of those buy shares here, because it seems like, because it's a hot commodity, the resellers are all over it, so it's looking way more inflated than it should. The first show, I absolutely get it, but this one, suspicions all over, just like the Madison Square Garden show for me. I think it falls under the same Loomy speculation of, like, is this legit? Like, do people really care that much? The building is not going to put on the show. The building is just the building, so it doesn't even matter where it's at.
No. Now, to be fair, you went to NXT TakeOver Dallas.
Okay.
Okay, so don't get me wrong, that's my favorite show, and they have some of the best matches that WWE has ever had, period. However, I wasn't in Dallas. I was at home.
Oh, man.
You went.
Funny story about that, y'all. The person I went to NXT Dallas with, he was just like, yo, I ain't going no more NXT shows. I was like, why? That was literally like the best show I've ever seen. He was like, because if they're gonna keep booking venues that only got one selection of beer and the only thing you can eat is pretzels, I'm not going no more.
You gotta have the good snacks.
I was just like, you really think that every venue's only going to give you pretzel, cookie, and 2 selection of beer for choices? That just happens to be the worst that could ever happen to us. There's no way that's ever going to happen. So literally, trying to convince this person to go to the next show, I'm like, I checked it. They legit have an open snack bar. You're good, okay? You can eat everything. It's okay.
I'm just saying, the building does matter. And for us who are on the East Coast, it's not just a matter of getting in a car and driving a couple hours or taking an hour-long flight. No, that's an adventure that you got to plan to go out to Vegas. It's the flight's 4 hours. The hotels are what they are. You got to get into MGM Grand Garden, which is an old arena. I think it'll do the building justice. You're going to get what you pay for, but let's not pretend they're running the T-Mobile Arena.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I was only going to do the jump if good seats came up. If good seats came up, I was going to take it as a sign. And even, heck, if it couldn't work out, I couldn't go. I knew I'd be able to unload him for a pretty penny. But for some nosebleeds, I was like, I'm not going and sitting up in the 200s and going through the trouble of a hotel and a flight for this. I ain't that pressed.
Yeah,
but
look, I'm already going to be in Vegas.
Good seats came up, I would have did it.
I'm already going to be in Vegas earlier that month, so it was definitely it wasn't enough interest for me to want to go. But in the eve of ticket buying, I'm definitely right there with you, Will. It just had to be something of that sort. Real quickly, so a rumor that's come out from Russell Talk claimed that they have a very close source to AEW that confirms that the schedule for the year will be the following: May 25th, Double or Nothing, MGM Grand; June, unspecified show; July, unnamed show in Jacksonville, Florida, which will be benefiting the anti-gun crimes and charity. August will be in the Royal Roberta Hall in London.
Royal Albert Hall.
I'm sorry, Albert Hall. September will be All Out, which will be the sequel to All In, and full launch ahead of TV tapings. Reportedly from the Sears Center in Chicago. In October is when the weekly television starts.
So monthly until possibly TV launches.
Yeah, reportedly every Tuesday. Russell Talks are reporting that AEW could air in October on Tuesday nights in TNT, filling the gaps in wrestling fans left by SmackDown's move to USA. Yeah, okay, so very good speculation here. Number one, based on Fox News, we know that Friday is not going to be the permanent move anyway, so I don't know how the common sense rationality here. And on top of that, let's be honest now. Anybody got a TV deal and it's already in place? Are you going to sit on that news? Don't think so, because you need to get more fans invested. Yeah, sure, tickets sold, but you still want to have reasons. And that's how everybody's talking about. TV deal. If the TV deal wasn't important, I don't think they would be sitting on that type of news when they know they got the opportunity to just announce it. I mean, Hot Topic was a huge thing for them. They didn't wait on that at all. They came immediately out with it when the rumors was swirling about it. So I don't know. Let's just move forward now. Anything else AEW guys before we roll out with that? I forgot about something.
Oh yeah, real quickly. I say as far as a TV deal, I know that's the big thing that everybody wants to do, but I think the greatest thing about NXT when they first came out is that they started off with a rival. And we didn't know what it was going to be. It was a lot of times seeing NXT for the first time. The FCW really wasn't a thing outside of Tampa. And then Arrival hits, and then NXT, that formula has been the thing for years. I know that people want to see and gorge themselves on AEW, but I think if they do, I would say that they skip TV for the first year. Just don't even do it. Just keep building the brand, keep the interest high, because if I miss the show, okay, cool, they'll just recap it on TV. I don't need to. Well, before the network came out, you didn't need to really watch the pay-per-view. You just watch the highlights on Raw, or see the aftermath on Raw. But now the network is out, so it's like, well, I don't need to watch Raw anymore. I can just see the culmination of the pay-per-view.
That's so interesting, Brittany. I've totally forgot about that mentality. That's so damn true.
So I just think that right now, while they have people by the short strings, just keep it interesting, keep it light, and just build. Don't give them enough. Don't give them too little. And I think that a show once every 2 months or something like that, give people time to prepare. Keep the elite storylines going. And just ride that wave until, honestly, next year. And then, if they want to do the episodic weekly thing, then they're going to have to talk about contracts and see how will people work? Who's actually signed to the company and who's signed part-time and freelancing? How many, like with Nova Pro? As much as I love Veda Scott, we haven't seen her in 4 months, and now she's making a return this weekend because she has other stuff to do. But what would that dynamic be if they had a TV deal that needed her character on a consistent basis? And Ring of Honor's television doesn't make sense. That's what's really hard to watch. It's really only worth it to watch pay-per-views. So, calm down with AEW. Let them get through May. That'll put them at 5 or 6 months through the year, and just do 2 or 3 more shows, and then go hard in 2020.
Yeah. Yep. I will say that the one thing I was talking about upon the pre-sale stuff going on, I immediately remembered that I want to do Jericho's Cruise. That looked hella cool last year. I'm all about traveling and considering wrestling on a cruise. Never been on a cruise, which is funny too. But he announced this cruise is going to be back next year for part 2, and it happens to fall right on my birthday, January 20th to the 24th, 2020, from Miami to the Bahamas. The Rock of Wrestling Rager is coming back, Jericho Cruise part 2. I'm all for that, so I'm hoping I can convince you good fellas to want to take part in that next year, because that should be fun. Again, beyond the dynamics of the traveling part, not having ROH cooperation or maybe New Japan cooperation, I'll be curious to see how this book is done. Also, on that rumored list of places they're going to work, very interesting that they don't have any place more closer to that other promotion in China. It is OWE.
Yeah. OWE.
Yeah, that they're not doing anything more closer to them to try to really draw in their fan base as well too, as well as
I don't think they should, because we don't know what they are. So it's not like they have YouTube in China where they can put their stuff out there, unless you got a Baidu account and you're about to go out there and start looking people up. It's really hard to come by. And I think that their introduction will be like, well, if they're bringing 3, then what else do they have? And hopefully that will be the start of something else. And that flight from Beijing or Shanghai is 12 hours to New York. So. Or wherever in the U.S. That's not close.
All right, well, let's talk about WWE a little bit.
Why?
So, huh? You
why?
Why? WWE.
A lot of dirty diapers today. We gotta talk about that.
Yeah, let's just hit the positive thing really quick. WWE yesterday, their Performance Center, actually, which is really cool, is that the Performance Center now has a legit YouTube channel and Twitter account, so that you are seeing what's happening there. And they came out yesterday announcing their next class of signees. Not sure if you guys got to look at it yet, but big names, big and rumored names such as Trevor Lee, Karen Q was in the bundle. Rich Ellery is officially signed. 3.0 officially signed. And who else was on there? That was another name I was familiar with.
3.0 is a really smooth tag team out of Quebec. So
Jonah Rock was on there.
Did I say ACH? Yeah, Jonah Rock.
ACH. There you go.
Yeah. So a lot of good talent is on their way into WWE. So with that being said, let's just quickly hit this. So we've seen a bunch of signees go to AEW. We've seen a bunch of signees just get in this new class for WWE. There's been a lot of other rumored names that were not in either class. I'm just going to throw this out there that if they were not in that AEW press conference, then they must be on their way to WWE. So with that being said, with this confirmed list and the rumored list of people, is WWE legitimately possibly about to have one of the most stacked rosters of all of their entire existence coming this year?
They already do. Yeah. They've had it for the last few years. That's been the issue, that they can't make use of everybody they have. That's the big problem. They just got people locked up on a shelf,
It's just...
I mean, but to your point about the roster being stacked, so what? Yeah. We see how stacked the roster is at NXT, and even on paper, at their best, WWE is on another level when it comes to the amount of talent that they have at their disposal, locked up contractually obligated to work for them. But so what? And as we've seen in the ratings, as we've seen with this flurry of competition that's come up around the world, it doesn't seem to matter that they have a dream team, a who's who of wrestling talent, if people in other ways, whether it's the obvious ways like ratings being down, attendance being down, overall, input on the product, rumors of wrestling leaving, it doesn't amount to a hill of beans if they can't bring it all together. So, and we've talked about this extensively, but what do they need to do? They have the ingredients, but they don't know how to bake a cake anymore. So what do they need to do to get it done? And as we've seen, as the shift has turned to AEW, as Impact still continues to crawl out of the goddamn ashes on Twitch. The last show was pretty good last night, Saturday night,
Friday,
but Friday night, yeah. Impact on Twitch is actually becoming must-watch television.
Yeah. So
it will be interesting to see what they've done. And honestly, the biggest thing we were talking about from WWE hasn't been the roster. It's been just a necessary shift in the dynamic, and we hope that that's going to come with their move on with Fox's insertion this coming October.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever followed to the roster. It's been insane.
Yeah. And to be fair, I mean, it goes back to another thing we've been talking about forever. It's like, the ratings may be going lower, and there may be frustration with storylines and frustration with different characters and stuff. But I mean, also last week, their latest earnings report came out, and they had record revenue, record profit, like across the board. As far as a business goes, they have never been more successful.
But so that's deceptively true, though, and I think you know that. I mean, to be fair, their attendance overall is up, but they also ran 2 extra shows where they did 50,000 people plus.
Right, and we know where all the extra money's coming from. We know the blood that's on that money, but one way or another, it's adding up to more money than they've ever had.
Yeah,
but we know if you take out those special events, as I will put that in quotes, take out the special events, and it's a different picture. Absolutely, no lie there.
Hey, the business is business. Just the rumor names that just been floating around that that we didn't see officially go either way, which could only mean that the next takeover is going to have a plethora of people in the crowd. Shane Strickland was another name. DJZ is a name the person we had on the show. Kushida is a really big name. And for the women, Viper and Kylie Ray, who was seen at the NXT UK takeover, not officially signed, as I don't think, at least there hasn't been an announcement, but that can only mean there could be a good grain of confidence that they should be going that way. So it's gonna be cool. But hey, look, all these people maybe being signed, or just not necessarily being signed to a brand, but being signed to the Performance Center. I don't know if that's always been a thing, or is that just new language that they're using now. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that or not.
Well, I think it's just a way for them to get them under the WWE umbrella, so they're just not independent anymore.
Okay.
That's just the spite sign, basically.
Yeah. Okay. The other big thing that came about of last week, not really a big thing because I don't really see too many people make much of it, but I guess we can just talk about it really quick. Is that an announcement came out earlier Thursday morning that the International Superstar Shakeup was going to happen. Keyword international, which they haven't used in the past, which is going to be live April 15th and 16th on both Raw and SmackDown. That comes 2 weeks after WrestleMania. What do you guys make of the news, obviously?
At this point, I think the international part only has to do with it being in Canada and them trying to market it to Canada as a big event. Now, obviously, if they want to go really crazy and mix up all the brands, then it could be a big curveball. But we're so far out from that, I think right now, even if they had intention to do that right now, I don't think it would mean anything because it'd be just as likely they change their minds about it. But it is in Canada, so I think that's where it's coming from.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what to make of it because, just full disclosure, I don't really watch WWE anymore. Like, legit, don't watch it. And secondly, it is the Superstar Shakeup. I don't know what significance the international part has with it. because they don't really unless that means that they're the UK guys are in play. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how exactly that means, but I hope that it's something more than them just being in Canada to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. I hopefully that it is more than just them being in Canada. Hopefully, the fact of we're starting to see sort of say shake up style tactics happening now. Me and Yim was working US NXT UK in a match against Jenny, and we've seen Drew Gulak go to NXT from 205 Live. And obviously the news from the McMahon family a while ago saying we were going to get the matches we want. People were just going to be any and everywhere. Hopefully we're just seeing the result of it, and we officially get legit moves happening. Now, I've been burnt in the past with my investment on how this is going to be handled. God damn, this would be great if the Fox deal was already in place, because they could really make this really special. But we'll see if they legit make some real power moves that make sense, and hopefully provide for better booking for the future. So we do have our last topic, and I'm just gonna hand this to Will, because it seems like you've been the captain of this ship on Twitter
all darn day since last night. Oh my God! Can the diapers get any piled any higher over Charlotte Flair? That girl, and Vince McMahon, they done broke the internet last night.
What happened? I don't know.
Okay, so last night to end Raw, they were teasing Becky. Becky had to apologize to keep her position in the match at WrestleMania against Ronda Rousey. They wanted her to apologize to Triple H and Stephanie for beating up Stephanie and Triple H last week. So
okay,
she apologized to them. Blah, blah, and they're like, and surprisingly, they're like, okay, thank you, very good, you have your match. We'll see you at WrestleMania. Then Ronda came out and confronted her and got in her face and started going back and forth.
I hope she smiled. That's what she's best at.
Well, yeah, she's especially on the ramp on the way down. Then
I hope she pointed the WrestleMania sign.
I'm sure there was some WrestleMania sign. We know there was some WrestleMania sign pointing involved by the end of the segment. So that's all happening. They're all getting in each other's face. The match is on, and then lo and behold, No Chance in Hell hits out of nowhere. And the old man comes walking out on the stage very quickly because they're running out of time. And Vince throws out there, you apologize to them. They accepted your apology, but you're not the man. I'm the man, and I don't accept your apology. And
she got tightest.
Yeah. He's like, I think you got a bad attitude, and Ronda, I think you have a bad attitude too. We need someone that can handle this match in a classy, dignified manner, and something to that effect. And so he was unhappy with Becky's attitude, so he suspended her for 60 days, which conveniently ends right after WrestleMania. And then he brought out Charlotte Flair to replace her in the match. And you might as well throw some gasoline on the interwebs and throw in a match, because immediately people lost their mind.
They didn't have to forget that this is what Daniel Bryan went through in WrestleMania 30.
It's a story we've seen before, isn't it?
Several times.
Yes, and the silly thing is what's killing me about it. People are losing their mind over this. And it's like, people, for weeks, what have we been talking about? Charlotte Flair being in this match, or it being a three-way, or it being something more than what it is, and not being Becky versus Ronda. And for some reason now they ripped the Band-Aid off and made the first move to it happening. People are acting like, we never knew this was coming. We didn't know this was going to happen. What are we going to do? I mean, people all day are losing their darn mind over it. And the funniest part is, so much of the people losing their mind are people that claim to know it all, that claim to follow things closely, that, have a website, that have their, they're a podcast like us or something. And people are losing their mind over this. And I can't even wrap my mind around it when we know this is coming. We know this is the direction they were going to go. And heck, we've known all along that a year ago, that Charlotte was the original plan for Ronda. We know Charlotte's their girl. So, I mean, anyone acting super shocked and like offended by this. It's like, come on, pay attention.
No, I think this is great though. I mean, like really, I think this is absolutely great. And if you're WWE, this is exactly what you want. They're playing like pawns right into the hands of the WWE, and then honestly, I hope that they turn the troll up, the meter up to 11, and don't even give Becky a spot on WrestleMania. I really do. Now the question is, and I don't know this, but does Money in the Bank come between now and WrestleMania, or is that still in July?
No, it's in the summer. We have Elimination Chamber this weekend and then Fastlane. We have 2 pay-per-views between now and
thank God for Fastlane. I forgot about that.
That's my favorite pay-per-view ever.
I'm sure it is. Mine is Roadblock. I love Roadblock. but still.
Roadblock into the road.
I Roadblock in your house. They need to bring back In Your House. But still, I absolutely hope that they completely troll the internet. And then of course they're going to do the bit where Becky buys a ticket, and which I think Dean Ambrose did before, and then she has her popcorn in the front row, and they're like, I really, really hope that, because they're turning her into Steve Austin.
Yeah,
and I really hope that she sits it out, and they completely build that angle to the Raw after WrestleMania, or whenever her suspension is over, or whatever the case is, and then let her loose. And it may not be, and then they set that up to SummerSlam.
You guys are so wrong. First of all, the issue here is that, first of all, Becky is not happy with creative. She's being rumored to go to AEW.
I hope. Oh well.
Everyone obviously. AEW. If there was a way we could put up the Cody gif right now of the Vizier, we need that on the screen right now, because that would be the next tweet coming in right now. Now, I want to spell this out because I had to do it so many times today. For anyone who hasn't been following along, let's be clear about what's happening here, because so many people cannot put this all together. What I love about it is this is WWE leaning into everybody's fear that Charlotte is their chosen one. Charlotte's the one they care about. Charlotte's going to screw Becky Lynch. And it's genius that they didn't have Triple H and Stephanie do it. They had the old man do it. They didn't have the saviors of NXT put her in there. They brought Vince out there and have him put Charlotte in the match. It's straight up. You were saying that Becky's Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're absolutely right. They made Charlotte into corporate rock. Is totally what they did.
You know what I hope that they do? I really hope that they have Becky come out and do the Bret Hart AEW. At WrestleMania.
Yep.
Oh. I really hope that they do that, and then of course, we just don't see her. We don't see her for a month, and that absolutely means nothing. But of course, the internet would lose their damn minds. I really hope that they do something like that. They won't.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it this. It sparked a ton of response. There are people out there just losing their ever-loving mind over this. That they've ruined WrestleMania. They've ruined everything. And like the last thing I put up today about it is just like, folks, there is 8 weeks until WrestleMania and 2 pay-per-views. That is so much TV they got to fill. They are telling a story. Let the story unfold, for God's sake.
I hope Becky joins the Wyatt family at Roadblock in your house.
That's how she'll get back in. That's how
she get back in. Yeah, she just joins the Wyatt family, and all be well.
I just wonder.
She'll be Becky Wyatt.
Is the cancel the network hashtag back yet?
Oh, I'm sure it was last night. I'm sure. I'm sure it's trending. I mean, geez, we had people today going on about how they were gonna show up at Charlotte's house and like do things to her house. Oh, and if you have not been following Charlotte's Twitter today, it's been amazing because she is playing into it perfectly. She is just reveling in the heel heat. It's great. I'm surprised how well they've handled this first bit. I hope they don't botch it up over the next week already.
Well, we've seen what they've done. When growing something organically, take Roman Reigns versus John Cena, for example. When Cena came out and laid into him, that very first time it was like, uh-oh, this is definitely getting interesting. And then, of course, they did it 3 more times, and it's like, oh, great. Okay, let's just get it over with. They've started something. The question is, did they start this too early? Right. Because the 60 days is doesn't matter. It could have been 30 days. It could have been 28 days. It doesn't matter. But the point is that they do have to fill 2 months until WrestleMania comes around. And how will they do that with Becky being theoretically suspended and off TV and stuff like that? Maybe they give her a week off next week, and I hope that they do.
Yeah.
Because I think that she really does have like a bum knee or something like that.
Yeah, no, there's a very real chance for overexposure. So this is the perfect way, I think, to keep her hot and keep her relevant. And in my mind, the perfect thing to do would be in 2 weeks, they're already advertising it. Ric Flair's 70th birthday party on Raw, February 25th. So there's a prime event there ready to be crashed. But that's 2 weeks from now. I don't know. Just throwing that little idea out there is.
So you think Becky's popping up out of her birthday cake?
There might be a red wedding. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But good for them, because as much as I bash WWE, it sounds like they have this is the thing that's going to drive them. And honest to God, if it drives towards the first, and I do believe it's the first all-female main event of WrestleMania, then they're good. Then good on you, WWE, and keep it going. Yeah, they got folks' attention. Now it's just a matter if they can keep it up. So there you go.
Yep. Well, did you so you rest your case on this?
For now, I rest my case for this week. We'll see if people calm the heck down. But don't be sending death threats to Charlotte, people. I mean,
send all the death threats. Please throw batteries in the ring. Burn her cat. Do it all, because this is exactly where you want to be as an entertainer, as someone who's supposed to get heat. And one of the biggest problems I have with WWE is that their bad guys aren't bad enough. And Charlotte, for what it's worth, has a perfect opportunity to get legit. She could be the biggest heel since Eva Marie.
Yeah, no, she's got the heat today. Whoa. I love how she's leaning into it. I love having the tie-in with Vince there, where they're totally playing on like the real fears of her being the corporate choice. It's just a matter of how they keep it going from here. And I mean, God,
she still has to beat out Nia Jax for biggest heel.
No, I think that honestly, Eva Marie is probably the biggest heel that WWE's had.
Ever. For sure, ever. I'm talking about right now. Nia Jax is still a bigger heel than Charlotte.
Nia Jax is more like, please just go away and don't break anything.
No, that's what everybody, talk about threats. And Nia Jax to AEW. That'll do it.
Everybody to AEW.
That'll fix it.
Everybody to AEW. I think my favorite, I'm only going to throw this one out there because I think my most favorite ridiculous response of the day of people just filling their diapers over this whole thing was people just straight up being like, they aren't telling the right story. It's like, come on, people.
That's how you know that they are.
Yeah, exactly. They got you that worked up that you're like, this isn't what I booked on 2K19. Yeah, they're pushing the people's buttons perfectly.
How is that game going for people, man? I wonder. After 18, I was like, never again. I
didn't touch it this year. No. Alrighty.
Yeah, there were some glitches.
I'm sure.
But I did Redbox it. It lasted a day.
Well, thank you for your services, 2K19.
They got $1 out of me.
Yeah. So we got anything else? Then we had our topics.
Yeah, we did all the plugs, right?
Yeah, well,
all the plugs in there.
Yeah, let's run down those plugs really quick again of all things that's going on this weekend. First off, I want to make an announcement. To all the fans been listening, we did a podcast roundtable about maybe a month ago. Got really good reception, and what we basically did is we invited other people that represent other podcasts, where I kind of took a step back and was the host of the show, shall I say, and moderated it, and threw out topics that I generated, and gave everybody a chance to go at it, and it was really interesting considering. Everyone had their everyone just brought a lot of good substance to the table, and I thought it went really well. So we're doing it again, And I have rounded up 3 other gentlemen of my picking, of people who I respect their material, their knowledge, and their contribution to the wrestling community. So the date will be towards the end of this month. More information will come out soon about it, but keep a lookout for it. It will include Ant from the Rant with Ant wrestling podcast, Andrew, who is the host of the What Is Tech and Mat Men podcast, and then Greg from Cheershot.com. So that's going to be fun. I can't wait for it. Again, stay tuned. The date will be definitely ironed out. This will be the end of the month ish time. So stay tuned for that. As far as this weekend of wrestling, again, what do we got, fellas?
Nova Pro. Yep. This weekend, Ain't That a Kick in the Head? It's at the Annandale Volunteer Fire Department, 7128 Columbia Pike. Front row sold out, so you can still get in on some general admission tickets. It's a lot of shenanigans going on, but Joey Ryan's going to be there. Ali Kat's going to be there. Veda Scott is going to be there. Innocent Isaiah is going to be there. That's going to be a good look. Sage Phillips versus Isaiah Frazier. That's going to steal the show. You heard it here first. That's going to be pretty awesome. It's their 2019 debut for Nova Pro Wrestling. So definitely get your tickets there and have some great Korean barbecue in the process nearby. On Sunday, you only have a day of rest because on Sunday, Fury Pro Wrestling, maybe you can put your ear to the door because that's sold out. That's out there in Rockville, FuryProWrestling.com, 2 o'clock if you have tickets already. And if you don't, well, now you know Fury Pro Wrestling is for real. And you got to get there early, get your tickets, get all that squared away. Don't dawdle. Fury Pro Wrestling is here, and it's in Rockville. So that's 2 great shows in the DMV area. And to be fair, I do believe Elimination Chamber is this weekend, which is Sunday night.
That's right. God.
Right, on the WWE network.
That no one has because they canceled it.
So if you haven't canceled it, or if you didn't buy your WWE network gift card, you can still, that's going to be Sunday at 7 o'clock. So that's a lot of pro wrestling on the TV, on the live in color. So go out there and go support your indie wrestling and boo Charlotte.
And stay tuned to Fury Wrestling's Twitter page and Nova Pro for any updates that may come about. You never know. I'm not totally sure currently if it will be streaming, but if it is, that gives everybody an opportunity to be able to watch the product live if you can't make it in person. There's been a lot of possibilities for streaming in other shows in the area, so you just never know. But I can't confirm that. But again, if you stay tuned to their social media accounts, you'll be able to find out yourself what's going to happen with that. And again, like you said, I'll be at the events, and I will be running back and forth. I'll be at CasaCon, which is at the National Harbor here in the Washington, D.C. area. 3-day convention filled with anime and other entertainment, multicultural entertainment. So I'll be hanging around there, getting some exclusive interviews with guests that will be attending and so forth. So that's that. So yeah, let's wrap it up. I think we got everything in for today. Oh, again, make sure you give a watch to our review for Fighting With My Family, which is the movie about WWE superstar Paige and her path to the WWE. Comes out February 22nd. And again, anybody in this area who may be interested in watching it, give us a shout on in our DMs, and maybe able to set you up with an advanced screening, first come, first serve. But we may be able to work something out. So definitely give us a shout about that. Anything else from you guys?
I'm just going to spoil a brief spoiler about the movie. There is no Brad Maddox. I share in your disappointment.
That would have been the whole question. Is like, who would play Brad Maddox? I can't even go down that rabbit hole right now.
That's a different podcast for a different day.
That might have to be a Patreon thing of some sort. People got to pay for that kind of talk.
Oh, only you, Jamal. We got anything for us?
Nah, man, I'm all good. I'll be at the show Friday night for Nova Pro. I will be at that. It looks like Kofi Kingston has been added to the Elimination Chamber,
Mustafa
replacing the
Ali's
injured
hurt.
Mustafa
Yep.
Ali. So that should be exciting. And other than that, if you want to hear people yelling about Charlotte, you can follow me on Twitter at Heel Will Mahoney. I've been having fun with them all darn day because they are not telling the right story. Don't you forget it.
Stop attacking Will, y'all. Come on, y'all. Be nice, man. That man has kids, man. Leave him alone.
He needs his Twitter. He got kids.
There you go.
All right, well,
Right
yeah,
on.
that's what we got, man. So, look, thanks for tuning in. I obviously keep an eye out to our social media. We got tons of stuff going on. Next week is going to be super exciting. We have 2 exclusive interviews coming for you. Look forward to seeing that information posted sometime this week because it's time to start promoting it. But 2 exclusive interviews coming next week for you guys. So, stay tuned for it. And the only way you can find that is by tuning in to BigGoBellGroup.com for all your latest news, update, podcasts, all that other good stuff. So, yeah, we'll catch you guys next week. Happy Valentine's Day, and we'll see you guys this weekend for a lot of wrestling.